Hello, welcome to Egg Shorts. Today, we are going to discuss a quick 5-minute episode on the difference between homesteading and ranching. We had Moses Woodson from the High Desert Homestead join us, and we had a lengthy conversation. It was a two-part episode for the Hangouts. We've also had a quick in the shoot that should be coming out either soon or it already did. This particular episode, though, we're just going to quick talk about the difference between homesteading and ranching. Homesteading was first originally introduced to the United States as a way to help settle the West, to take over some of that free quote unquote free land that the government already had purchased through the Louisiana Purchase. They pushed Native Americans off, and everybody knows the history of that. Then ranching came about, and really it became more of a consolidation and conglomeration of smaller homesteads that eventually began to produce for the rest of the United States. And that's what we now have as modern ranching. Homesteading has actually started to make a resurgence, and people like Moses Woodson, who joined us, has actually kind of made that more and more popular. And there's Facebook groups, YouTube pages, all sorts of things. So I just kind of want to get Dad's take on what he's kind of learned between the difference between homesteading and ranching, and any of his thoughts with that with 4 minutes.
Well, I think the first thing that I saw as a contrast was the difference between homesteading and homesteading as we traditionally know it or historically know it in this country, which, was being able to prove up on the land, make a living, and provide a commodity that would be shipped out on rail, generally, because we did have railroads out here then, so that it was a mass settling of uncharted territory. And now they're picking up property that somebody else already owns. That's either somebody homesteaded in the way we think of it long ago, or purchased it at some point, and so they're trying to grab a little piece of ground where literally they can survive. It's a survival type, subsistence type living without necessarily being able to rely on fish or game, things like that, like they do, in Alaska. Not that kind of subsistence, but mainly on your own with some hogs, chickens, rabbits,
A small
sheep and goats,
garden.
gardening, provided you got the water. And all of the same things really apply to what we do, just on a lot smaller scale and for a lot different reason. We're still in it to provide a good food source for, actually the globe. And they're in it for, being able to get away, control their circumstances, control their environment around them, meaning their social environment, I think, more than anything, and then be able to, live a long, happy life. It is a hard life. There's no doubt about it. He talked about it's inconvenient. He's absolutely right. I mean, you make do with everything you're doing every day. And so you're almost back to the hunter-gatherer type of way of life in a way, because what you do that day depends on whether you eat that night or the next day. So it's a giant change. The one thing that I didn't really come out of that with was that he's not a prepper, and he said that there are some that are, that they're looking for the zombie apocalypse, but they're not. They just want to be left alone, want to survive and live a stress-free life in as healthy a way as they possibly can, is really, in a very broad sense, what I got from it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And the other thing too is he's looking to eventually make it more of a, like he said, push button operation, where much of it's just, once it's done, you can kind of make everything's just rolling on its own. There's not much extra energy exerted every day, and you can just live and enjoy your life without having to really rely on some of that steady income for crops and stuff. But yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was really cool to get some of that modern homesteading intake. So
yeah, no, and one thing he's doing is he's preparing himself for the future, for his own future, which all of us should be doing it. Whether you're trying to build up a big bank account so that you can pay for it all, or you can make it easier on yourself when you're older and you don't have the physical strength to be able to do the same things as easily. And that's a reality of the of the life cycle. You get old enough and can't take care of yourself, you're going to die.
Yeah. Well, with that is some of the quick differences between modern homesteading and ranching.